My name is Dr. Kevin Pecca. I wanted to make a podcast that exposes people to the true miracles of life and health. All the guests on this show have been specially picked because they bring something positive to the world. They have some of the most amazing and inspiring life stories. These people have a passion for living, healing, and leaving the world better than they found it. There is something inside these people that made them keep fighting through all the tough times, even when people told them it was not possible. They carried on and made their lives beautiful again. And now they are sharing their experiences with the world. This is the Expect Miracles podcast. Enjoy the show. Today on the Expect Miracles podcast, we have Dr. Charmaine Herman. Dr. Charmaine Herman is a Blair Upper Cervical chiropractor out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Dr. Charmaine is an expert researcher in the upper cervical field and is responsible for many new research articles on the upper cervical work. She was also Blair Chiropractor of the Year in 2016 for her dedication, research, and expertise in the Blair Upper Cervical work. Dr. Charmaine is also a professor and instructor at Life University, teaching the students the Blair work. She is very passionate about Blair and sees many miraculous results in her practice. Dr. Charmaine discovered the Blair Upper Cervical work because she had excruciating low back pain that she could not get rid of. Blair Upper Cervical was able to rid her of her low back pain and give her the ability to function to her optimal potential. She is now helping others do the same at her healing center in Georgia, Agape Upper Cervical. Please welcome Dr. Charmaine Herman. Dr. Charmaine, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dr. Kevin. How about you?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to have you on the show. You've been practicing Blair for quite some time now, right?
Correct, yes. For a few years now.
That's great. And Dr. Charmaine, before we get into that, where are you from originally?
I'm originally my family is from Jamaica. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, yeah.
Okay.
I've been in the South. I lived in South Carolina for 23 years. I moved there in 1987.
Wow.
And I've been in Georgia now for 10 years.
How was that transition from Brooklyn to South Carolina?
I went to Alabama first, so South Carolina seemed really big when I got there.
Okay.
So I went for education, so it was a life-changing experience. Never like to say that. I love the South. Okay. So
did you say you started off in education?
I went to school at the University of South Carolina.
Okay.
And I did start off, actually I wanted to go to medical school.
Really? What was your drive for just wanting to be a medical doctor or a doctor in general?
Well, I always wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that was the way to help people. My mom was a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up around science. I grew up around different things like that. I always loved science. I worked for a vet for 5 years in high school, so I thought I wanted to be a veterinarian at first. But the animals in the South at the school I went to were pretty big, not like dogs and cats.
Yeah.
So that wasn't going to work for me. I didn't want horses and cows. So medicine was the second thing on my mind. I wanted to be a pediatrician. Nice.
And so how did you end up making the transition over to chiropractic?
Now, all of us to get to chiropractic, I didn't grow up with chiropractic, so I don't have that kind of a history.
Uh-huh.
A lot of African Americans, African Caribbeans don't have a history in chiropractic.
Yeah.
So I later found out that my dad, who would get into a car accident in New York, did go to a chiropractor. I just didn't know it.
Oh, okay.
So let's see, it was about 2004 when I was working for the Department of Health in South Carolina after I graduated from USC. I did that for about 10 years. And one of the ministers at the church I went to had a problem with her back. And it was sciatic pain going down the leg and everything else. And she tried everything, went to the doctor. They gave her a bunch of muscle relaxants. And at the health food store that I would frequent for what was going on, the owner, she said, well, did you take it to a chiropractor? And I was like, what's a chiropractor? So, it was kind of, I felt stupid. I had a master's degree. I did all this stuff, but I still had no idea what a chiropractor was. So I took her to the chiropractor. She had like 2 or 3 visits. And she was up and going, no medicine, nothing. And it just amazed me to see the effectiveness of chiropractic on her life. So it's something that just stayed in the back of my mind for another year. And I went back to that same office to talk to the chiropractor that was there. And at that time, a Sherman grad had bought the practice.
Oh, nice.
So he started talking to me about chiropractic, and it just jived with what I believed, how I believed the body worked, and what I believe God intended the body to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it made so much sense to me. And he actually gave me my application to Sherman.
Really?
Yeah, it was really great. Dr. Leaf. Oh, yeah, Dr. Leaf. And it was so funny because I asked two other chiropractors in Columbia. I went to see them first before I made my final choice. And they were both life grads.
Oh, okay.
And they both said, go to Sherman, don't go to Life.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, okay. So I went up to Sherman, turned in my application, and started the next year.
Wow. And did you get your first adjustment that day?
I got my first adjustment just before I went to Sherman.
Nice.
Yeah.
And was that profound? Did you have any good experiences with that?
Actually, no. I didn't notice anything different.
Wow.
I was like, okay, because I was not someone in pain. I was
right.
suffering. So it didn't make a big difference to me. I didn't have any great epiphany.
And so did you find upper cervical chiropractic at Sherman? Or was that something you found after graduation? That
I found at Sherman. Around fourth or fifth quarter, I developed a really bad left hip pain while I was a student. And my intern, she tried every technique, and I still was in a lot of pain. So Dr. Susan Brown Cooper came on campus to teach the Blair work. Dr. Perry Rush was already teaching the Blair work there, but I was in fifth quarter, so I couldn't take it yet.
Yeah.
So she taught a weekend seminar. And I took the seminar primary, and it made so much sense. She came back, I took the intermediate. She came back, I took the advanced. But at the advanced seminar, I was in so much pain. She usually chose a student to be the patient. And that day I said, can I please be the patient?
Wow.
I really need to do this work. Because I was at the point where a lot of my students get at Life where they feel like chiropractic doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
It may work for everybody else, but they don't have that story.
Absolutely.
So I was at that place. I said, I'm here, but it's not working for me.
Yeah. And
so,
that's what you're about to do. You're about to graduate. It's tough to get enthusiastic about something that you really haven't had any luck with. Yeah.
Correct. Dr. Hooper took my x-rays. I had a double Blair listing. She adjusted me, rested me for 30 minutes. The first place I felt heat was in my left hip. It was like...
Really? It went right to your hip, huh?
Straight, like someone lit a match, and just my hip was burning up. So I must have fell asleep for about 30, I don't know what time. And when she got me up, my pain was gone.
That's really amazing.
It was amazing. I stood there, I was like, okay, you adjusted just at my out, and my hip pain went away.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand, too. We are upper neck specialists. It affects the entire body.
Everything. And I was on fire for Blair. They call me the Blair person on campus. I went and started the Blair Club. We went to the seminars. I took Dr. Rush's class and learned the technique, and I did Blair.
Beautiful.
So I became the Blair person on campus.
And so what did you want to do after you graduated? Because you're in Atlanta now, correct? Or in the Alpharetta, Georgia. So how did that come out?
Well, I met my husband while I was in school. So I married him end of my second year. So when I graduated, I had to go to Atlanta because he was already here. He actually moved up to school for the last 2 years, so I didn't have to transfer. So he stayed on campus with me and worked from home. So anyhow, so when we graduated, I graduated March 21st, 2009. This is my 10th year.
Wow.
Actually. And so moving back to Atlanta where his job was, we settled in Alpharetta. And the next question was, I had already got my business plan and everything else because I was with Upper Cervical Health Centers of America at the time because they had the student program. So I had everything ready to apply for my loans. But in 2009, that was the year all the banks tanked.
Oh, yeah. Everything came crashing down.
Everything crashed, and nobody was giving out anything. Thankfully, I had already applied to Life University because I had a master's in history, and I taught history for a number of years. I taught even while I was at Sherman at a local college. So I applied to teach at Life in their undergraduate college so I'd have some funds coming in. And they hired me, and I started April 6th, 2009.
Wow.
I've been at Life. This year will be my 10th year at Life as well. Go ahead.
So you started just as a teacher, like just to get some income at Life, right?
Right.
But it really turned into something beautiful for you because you are one of the most amazing people at giving back to the community in the Blair Society. You give so much to that college, and the students are very appreciative of you. How did you get connected with Blair on campus? Did it just come naturally, or?
Well, Dr. Reitman's background, the president of Life University, he was a Blair doc initially.
Oh, okay.
He studied under Dr. Reitman. But when I started at Life, I was in the undergraduate college. I only taught history. Then I moved on to teaching biology labs and becoming the person over all the labs on the natural science department. But my passion has always been chiropractic. I already had my license. I wanted to practice. So in 2013, when I received the Blair faculty certification, I went ahead and applied to teach the Blair elective on campus. So that had not been taught since 2004. So I had to put in the paperwork and everything else to actually apply to teach. I was already the advisor for the Upper Cervical Club and for the Toddler Club. So the students are getting to know me slowly in the chiropractic program. And then when I started teaching the Blair elective, that year I also got hired into the chiropractic program full time.
Perfect. And you also have your own private practice too, right?
Correct. I started my private practice 2013. God just opened an amazing door in my,
That's interesting too, because a lot of people, like when you said 2009, the banks crashed, a lot of people don't have the finances. How were you able to navigate that? And what is some advice you have for other students and doctors that are really trying to open up their own practice, but the funds may not be right, and there might be other things in their life that they feel that the timing or whatever is not right? How did you manage to open up your own practice and stay positive and weather that storm a little bit?
Well, my faith is in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I know that the delays are not denial. I knew I was going to open my practice one day. So that delay did not mean I wasn't going to be able to get there.
Right.
I stayed focused on just doing what I did. I stayed in the moment. I stayed working with the students, stayed working on campus. And then when the opportunity arrived that an office was available, it was just there to step in. You don't have to have a lot of money to open a practice. I tell my students that every day. 1,000 square feet, you might need that. You could do it in less than that. You don't have to have all the bells and whistles.
Right. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. You just want to keep your overhead down. You can buy used furniture. You can buy a lot of stuff. I bought things at Big Lots, online. I kept my overhead really low. And it's great, like places like Titanic will lease you equipment.
Wow.
Low payment, so you don't have to worry about buying a Titan right out. You get to pay monthly payments. So there are great options there. It's not all about trying to get all the bells and whistles.
Right. I guess the most expensive thing would be the Xray equipment.
Correct.
How'd you do that?
I had already bought Xray from a doc who went digital.
Okay.
I already bought a system. I had it in storage even before I had my practice actually open. Perfect. And then when I did open my practice, what was really a big blessing was Dr. Christopher Lee, who practices Blair in Roswell. It was 3 miles from my location. So instead of putting all the expenses of setting up an Xray system, I send my patients to Dr. Lee.
That's very important.
Yeah. We work together. He takes my X-rays, sends them back to me, and I see my patients.
Yeah.
So we were able to get around that big. So I tell people some imaging centers would be a great opportunity. Find other chiropractors in your community. Because some can take those views. Dr. Lee takes views from other chiropractors in Roswell and other areas in Georgia. Because he takes great views. If you don't have the money for the system right then, check your community. There are other chiropractors with systems that be glad to do your views.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's huge because I see that, quote unquote, stopping a lot of people. They say, oh, I want to, but the X-ray equipment or the CBCT is too expensive when you can refer out for your X-rays. And there's also dental people that if you want to do CBCT, you're helping them pay off their machine.
Correct.
So those are still two really good resources where you're keeping the overhead low.
Correct.
And you're getting all the images you need to do the upper cervical work.
A big problem is we don't communicate well with others. Chiropractors in general are islands by themselves.
Yeah.
Once we learn to communicate with the community around us and reach out to see what other people are doing, like I sent letters to all the chiropractors in my community to let them know I was there. Mm-hmm. They may not have all responded, but they know I'm there.
Absolutely.
And actually, you have to put that hand out if you want something to come back. So I think we have, and I tell it to my students, don't think you're on an island by yourself. Even the medical community will help you. People, you get to know people in your community, they'll be glad to give you ideas, share knowledge with you. You don't know everything.
Absolutely.
That's one of the biggest problems we have as a profession. We are so isolated.
Yeah.
And we want to just fight our battles by ourselves instead of there's a big world out there. People are happy to help us a lot.
Absolutely. And Dr. Charmaine, what kind of cases do you see in your office that you're able to help with? A lot of people don't even know what upper cervical chiropractic is, and it helps with almost everything. What kind of people do you see in your office, and what kind of cases are you able to help with?
Well, I've been able to see a big gambit of people. From young children, I've seen babies from as old as 12 months who had what doctors thought was epilepsy that was not. It's just turned out a hypersensitive, sympathetic system that was causing them to have what looked like tremors. I've been able to work with babies and children. I wrote research about that. I thought the 8-year-old with severe back pain. that they didn't know what was wrong with. I had patients come with veneers, one as far as 4 hours away down to my practice because there are only 2 Blair doctors in Georgia, so they had to travel from Tennessee 4 hours. And 2 adjustments, and she was doing great. The dizziness was gone. Her life came back. But I see a gambit of everything in my practice. I'm always happy to see. I see elders. I see over 60, 75. My oldest patient is 76 years old, and she's been on the Blair care for over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually under Dr. Muncie. And when she retired in Georgia, they sent her to me.
That's amazing.
I'm just so excited about what I do. I love upper cervical chiropractic. I love chiropractic, period.
Yes.
My students always laugh and say, Dr. Herman, you are so passionate. I said, I'm passionate because I'm doing something I love to do. I love to practice and I love to teach. So I have the benefit of doing both things that I love the most.
How important do you think that is in doing anything in life? Just like following your passion, finding your passion, and pursuing it?
I think that is one of the most important things you could ever do in order to feel like what I'm doing has a purpose. When you get out there and you're at a job every day, I've done that. This is my 3rd career. So I've been in a job that I did like okay, but didn't want to do for the rest of my life. So I tell people, if you're going to be a chiropractor, you need to love it because you're going to be doing it every day for the rest of your life. It is so important. And if you don't, be old enough and man enough and woman enough to make that decision. This is not what I thought it was. I need to do something else.
Absolutely.
But it is so important to love what you do.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people wanting to make that jump into another career or something that they want to pursue, but they're scared or they make excuses or they don't believe that they can do it. What do you think it was with you that you were actually able to make that jump and switch careers and pursue your dreams? Because not everybody does that.
Chiropractic was not my initial dream, but it became my passion. My dream was to help people. I just wanted to help people. In the capacity that I was working, I didn't feel like I was making a difference in other people's lives. And I think that drives you enough to question. And once you question, and like I said, I prayed, I was like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I've done this. What else can I do? And then here comes chiropractic right in my life. And I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. But people have to get out of the fear. People are afraid. But fear stops people from doing great things in every area of life.
Absolutely.
So once you get past the fear, say, look, I know I need to do something. Otherwise, I'm going to die in this career that I hate so much. And I need to do something. So people just need to be exposed. They need to take their time and look for things. See what else is out there. And then when you find it, do it wholeheartedly. Yeah. There's always money to get things done there. I found out when you make that step, everything comes towards you.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid to me.
Yeah. And I feel like what I'm hearing from you is you realized that it was also, you were following something that was bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
It wasn't all about you or whether it was about money or anything. It was just you and your dreams, and you realized you were helping and serving people.
Yeah.
I think when it becomes bigger than you, it helps you get out of the bed in the morning on the days you don't want to show up. The work becomes enjoyable.
It does. I love it. My husband always laughs. My husband's retired now, but he always says, I can't ask you to retire because I know you love what you do too much.
Yeah.
My patients know, my students know, I enjoy what I do. I thank God every day that I'm able to do something I enjoy. Both things I enjoy on a daily basis. So yeah, Absolutely. It gets you out of bed. It has to be bigger than you. Otherwise, if you do this to get rich, it's the wrong motivation.
Right.
It won't happen that way.
I feel like the money almost follows where your intention's in the right spot.
Definitely.
And so you must love also teaching the students the Blair work at Life University. Tell me a little bit about that, because upper cervical chiropractic is not in every campus. It's only in a few in the country, and you are one of the main doctors teaching it. How rewarding is that?
That's extra rewarding, especially when students that I teach will go on to actually work in the upper cervical community, especially become Blair doctors. I've seen a number of students go out, and they're Blair doctors in other states today. And I feel so excited that I'm helping to add to the profession because, again, as you know, Blair doctors are so few and far between, especially on the East Coast. There's so few of us. So when I see students that I'm able to impact their lives enough for them to say, yeah, this is what I want to do. All right, Dr. Herman has showed me this. I can do this, and I'm going to go do it. It is one of the most rewarding things I think I've ever felt, is just watching students go and start their own. And they're excited about doing it. So, yeah, it's a great reward. I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Such a rewarding field, especially the upper cervical world, because you see so many miracles happen. And then there's also on the other side of the coin, it does get difficult. And there's also, and I feel like a lot of students may feel like we were kind of talking about it alone. Some chiropractors feel like they're on an island or they're by themselves. The Blair community is excellent. And there's so many doctors that are willing to help you out, whether it's sending x-rays through emails to help with listings and everything. So if you're a student out there and things are getting difficult, I've seen some people just shut it down completely because they were struggling, but the Blair community is very strong. And if you ever need to send x-rays or get questions on a patient, we are all definitely here for you and able to help you out. And Dr. Charmaine, well, we'll give you her email address at the end of the show. I get questions about your email all the time down in Life University, just someone to talk to about upper cervical, and they're thrilled when they find you down there.
Yeah, they're amazing. The students are amazing. Those that want to do upper cervical are really excited. And I talk to students from NUCA, from PCHES, from every area. We have the conversation. As long as you understand how important the upper cervical area is, you're part of the family. You're part of the community. You're doing what you need to do. So I tell people, if you're not doing Blair, that's fine, but do something. Be specific when you deal with the upper cervical spine. If you learn a toggle, just do a good toggle.
Absolutely.
But learn to do it well. It'll affect people's lives and get you those miracles.
Absolutely.
I teach the head and neck clinical case integration course, so I see every student by 8th quarter. And that's one class where I push, you've got to be specific, especially because we deal so much with the head and neck issues.
And what does that mean, being specific in the upper cervical spine for an adjustment? Why is that so important?
Well, the brainstem, the location of the brainstem, the location of the major arteries of the neck, things like the carotids, the vertebral arteries that feed the brain. You want to be as specific as possible not to cause any injury, and at the same time to open up the power, to open up
absolutely
the ability to communicate with the body effectively because it's lost that upper cervical subluxation. So I talked to him, I said, you've got to be specific. A full spine move might not do that.
Yeah.
You may do that, but it may not work. So what else do you have in your bag that will work? All right, you might try Thompson, you might try activated, but suppose that doesn't work. Be specific. Use a toggle, contact app. I hear a lot of things. I have just an octopus. I said, yeah, I understand you could just octopus, but what about Apple?
Yeah.
It's the one that moves the most. It's the most unstable one. Adjusting octopus is great, but what about Apple?
Yeah.
And a lot of students are afraid to contact that bone, or they don't know how to contact that bone.
Yeah.
The specificity and an adjustment is so important as far as knowing when to and also when not to.
Absolutely.
Adjust. So that's one thing I do speak to my students about.
Yeah, that's great. And so, Dr. Charmaine, how are you able to balance teaching and your own private practice?
I am in practice 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sunday afternoons. Those are the days I'm not teaching.
You said Sunday afternoons?
Sunday afternoons.
Beautiful.
Traffic in Atlanta is pretty heavy during the week. So a lot of patients come up on a Sunday afternoon, and I see between 12 and 6, I see patients at that time as well. So, and I can't do any of this, I thank God so much for my husband, because he runs my practice office.
Yeah.
He runs the office, he takes the money, he makes the appointments, and that has been such a blessing for me.
Oh, absolutely.
So again, all of that, it's not like I'm Superwoman. I promise you I am not. But there's a little old saying, if you want things done, give it to a busy woman. One thing I am is busy.
Yeah.
Because my husband's also a pastor, so we also have a ministry. We have family, so there's always something going on. So the balance is there when I know my priorities. My patients are my priorities on patient days, and my students are my priorities on teaching days.
That's perfect. Yeah, that sounds like you're very present in wherever you are, which is important. And you kind of just touched on something that I also find really important. The people you surround yourself with that are able to help you out, because I know what makes my job in the office a lot easier is I have the same secretary that was with Dr. Banish for 13 years.
Wow.
So she knows exactly how to talk to people, how to answer the phones, how to collect the money, because that's very important. And it sounds like she makes it so I only have to worry about the chiropractic. And it sounds like your husband also is amazing and takes the load off your shoulders in that department. How important do you think it is just to surround yourself with the right people while in practice and also obviously outside?
Almost a given, but unfortunately people don't see it that way. You need to have that positive encouragement, that strength. When you're frustrated with the patient, my husband, he'll talk me off a ledge in a minute.
Yeah.
Those days come. It's not like you're going to love every patient, and all patients are not the best people at times to deal with.
Yeah.
It's great to have someone else there to take that pressure off of you. So when people come and want to make deals about prices, I said, well, you need to see him about that, because that's
Absolutely.
not on my plate.
Yeah.
It's not for me to deal with, because they feel like my heart is big and soft, so I'm going to do this. And he'll cut him a break in a minute, too. I'm like, come on, man. But, like he said, our practice is a ministry as well as a service to the community. So he's like, well, if they can't pay, we'll take care of it next time. So I let him handle all that, because he pays the bills. He knows what's going on. So it's okay. But it's so important to surround yourself with the support that you need. Be positive, because when you're in that practice, when you're with those patients, they know what's going on with you. They can feel what's going on with you.
Absolutely. Not when you need a break or when you're on fire. Yeah.
Oh, they can see it and feel it. Yeah. So if you're stressed out, they'll know you're stressed out. They're like, okay, you sure you want to stress me today? I'm always giving my best when my patients see me. They're always, smile is always there. A word is an encouraging word. I always try to remember important things about family members, like how's your daughter doing? How did that situation go the other day you were talking about? All of those things let you know that you are present in the moment with them. And you can't be that way if you're stressed with all the other things that are going on in life.
Absolutely. I think that goes a very long way. Just remembering little things about your patients, whether it's their birthday or how their daughter or wife is doing, that goes a long way with them. And it might even help with the healing process a little bit, showing that you care. And do you feel like a lot of the healing is mental as well?
I believe people have to feel like they can be healed. They have to feel positive. I tell my patients to trust the process. Sometimes it's a longer process, depending on how much damage is there, how long they've been subluxated. The process can be, I said, but let's trust the process. Let's trust that the God-given ability in your body to heal is going to work. Take it one day at a time, and let's celebrate the small miracles. So if they turn their head forward, look, you couldn't do that last time.
Yeah.
If they can sit down without pain, look, you couldn't do that last time. I always try to celebrate those small miracles so they stay encouraged. Because healing is a process.
Absolutely.
And frustrated all the time.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because we all love those people that pop up off the table, kind of like the experience you had with your hip. It does happen. It's a beautiful thing, but there's also a good amount of times where true healing does take time, and it could be a roller coaster ride for the first couple months. So I think those words of encouragement are very important, especially for a patient that's going up and down in the first couple months. And
you as a doctor have to be impatient too, because sometimes you're like, okay, is this going to work?
Yeah.
You have to be confident that you are putting in the force at the right time, and the body knows exactly what to do with it. And if you don't see that miracle, what do you do?
Yeah.
I have one patient, I've been seeing her now almost a year. We took new X-rays, and she was a little disappointed. I couldn't think about it. It hasn't gotten any worse.
Right.
What we saw on X-ray hasn't changed, so it's not going from bad to worse. It's staying stable. So the next place it's got to go is into healing. So that made me smile about that. But people, you've got to always keep your patients seeing the positive side of this care. And at the same time, know when you need to send it to someone else.
Yeah, that's big.
Crime in that.
What kind of people do you refer to when people start plateauing, Dr. Charmaine?
Well, that's a good question. Sometimes I keep them with me most of the time just to see what the body's going to do. But there's a nuclear not far from me that I refer to from time to time. There's also a naturopath that I refer to. She's really good at working with some of the other things that body needs help with. So I send them to a naturopath and a nuclear doc. There's a few knee chest docs here. Every now and then, if I see a case that's not clearing out, thankfully, most of my patients have stayed with me. Yeah. But I found that naturopathic care has helped a lot of my patients.
Absolutely. Well, there's so much going on these days. There's so much toxins and traumas, and we're always on our cell phones looking down. There's just a lot more that goes into our health these days, and sometimes it does take a team to get people better.
And at the same time, we have to be more willing to do things like give patients exercise. I do prescribe exercises, things that they do for their posture. Let's do this. Let's raise the computer. Let's do that. Let's stop looking down all the time. Put your elbows on the table when you're looking at your cell phone. Things like that to get people out of that negative posture, because that's a big thing right now. Well, I heard a doctor say we have to thank AT&T and Verizon for bringing us all these patients.
Yeah. We are going to be in business for a long time.
Correct. So getting people out of those bad postures and bad habits, that's a challenge as well, and that's a big part of our care.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Charmaine, where are you located? Where can people find you? What's your website and email and all that stuff?
All the cool stuff. My website, my practice is Agape Upper Cervical Health Center. The website is www.agapeuc.com. So it's agapeuc.com. That's my website. My email address is agapeuc@gmail.com. You can reach me there. At Life University, I am Charmaine, CHARMAINE, Herman, HERMAN, at life, LIFE.edu.
Perfect. And Dr. Charmaine, to close out the show, I always ask my guests, what is one piece of advice that has really resonated with you through the years that you would like to gift the audience? Could be absolutely anything.
If you don't love it, don't do it.
If you don't love it, don't do it?
Don't.
I love that.
Do what you love.
Do what you love.
Do what you love.
I love that. All right. Dr. Charmaine, thank you so much for coming on, and I will send you all the links, and very excited for it to come out. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I just want to be able to bless the community with more. I want to see more of us out here. So thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing it. So thank you so much for all you give back to the upper cervical world.
Thanks, Kevin. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and leave a review. It really helps boost the podcast and spread the good word. My chiropractic practice is located in West Orange, New Jersey at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. You can also find us on Facebook at Montclair Upper Cervical Chiropractic. All of my information is on my website at drkevinpecca.com, drkevinpecca.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Dr. Kevin Pecca for podcast episodes, patient testimonials, and educational videos. I have daily affirmations and inspirational quotes on Instagram at Easel Affirmations, EASEL Affirmations. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me at drkevinpecca@gmail.com, drkevinpecca@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Cheers.